Hello again. Today, how to make a stained glass tree, number 9, is with drawer knobs and screws and bolts. So this is a fun, different tree with a kind of a theme to it. So the garland that I wanted to wrap around is made like I did other garlands by taking a wire that's about 18 gauge and finding an object that you have in the house that's a good size for whatever crystals you have. So I'm using glass globs that are about a ½ inch in diameter, and this Vaseline tube top is just the right size for me to twist my wire around. Now what this is this going to be a garland that I'm going to wrap around my tree, and this will help support the glass globs that I'm using for the garland itself. So this is just how you make the garland. And I do this kind of twisty going around an object for other projects when I want to have a line of glass, because this is a good way to support them. So you make a bunch of these, and I make an extra long piece so I can, definitely have enough to wrap around the tree. And then I put my glass globs in it. For this particular tree, I am using clear glass globs. So here again, these glass globs are foiled with about half the diameter or the width of a 7/32 inch black backed foil, copper foil, like you'd use for doing regular stained glass work. But I don't want to use the whole width of the foil, because then it would wrap around the glass too much, and I would no longer have that, be able to see that beautiful glass round glob. These right here are flat glass, all different colors and sizes that I have cut into leafy shapes. So you can cut them by hand, or you can use a ring saw, whatever you want to do. And now after I foiled them, I now have a foam tree that I covered with silicone, and I have a video on how I covered it with silicone. And I'm using wires to help hold that hoop that's a little bit large. Um, I'm using wires to help hold the hoop to the base of the tree so I can temporarily hold it while I am placing some leaves. So I have a whole bunch of different leaves, and I foiled them, and I used the whole piece of foil because it's just normal thickness of regular stained glass. And so I'm using the whole 7/32 inch width of the foil for these pieces. Now I have a whole bunch of different sizes and colors, and I'm trying to mix and match. And what these are doing is these are supporting the garland that I have wrapped around the foam tree, the silicone covered foam tree. So I am soldering these leaves in place, and these are going to help hold the garland into the shape that I want, because what I'm going to be attaching to this garland is are these drawer knobs that are quite heavy, and I need to have a lot of support before I start attaching my decorations. So for this one, my support is going to be these glass leaves, and I've used these before, and I think they really are pretty. When you're done and you have LED lights on the inside, I think this really looks nice. Right now I am going around all the edges to make sure everything is soldered and all the copper is in fact covered up, so that looks really pretty. So you can see that, I'm using like old pieces of solder that just happen to fall on my work table, and sometimes I'm using a new piece of solder. So, don't throw away any of those solder globs that happen to fall off your project, because you may need to, you're going to want to use them some other time. So I took my drawer knobs that I bought, and I wrapped the base of them with foil, just regular, you can see that foil, and I wrap the base so that I'll be able to solder them onto the projects. And I got like a whole set of these shiny glass topped or maybe it's acrylic. I can't remember if they're really glass, but they're shiny, um, pretty doorknobs or drawer knobs. That's a pretty blue one. And I'm spacing them all over the tree. And I also have a bunch of just brass ones, or or kind of copper or brass colored, because I wanted them to kind of blend in so that it's really obvious that I have drawer knobs. And I'm trying to space the different colors of the shiny ones so that I have them, I don't want to have like two light blue ones right together. So I keep spinning my tree around and adding them where there happens to be a space. Now, often you'll want to use different kinds of beads or crystal chandelier for your project. So I have a drawers full of them. And what I did right here was, this is a lineup for the star. I wrapped the base of each one of them in foil, because this will help me solder them all together, because I want my star topper to be all these crystals. But in order to hold them together, one of the best ways is to solder them. And if I've already wrapped the base of each one with some foil, then I'll have something to solder together. So I made like a circle of them, and I soldered them together, and then I made wires. I soldered a wire to it, and then just kind of put a bunch more on it, and then use my tweezers to tighten it down. And then I just kind of stabbed into the middle of it with more solder and more flux, so that I could get it all soldered together. And wherever I had like a gap, I would just add another wire, add another chandelier crystal, and then I'm all set. Now I need to attach it to the top. So it's kind of like just going to be balanced at the top of it. So I'm using the wires that were left over from making it, and I'm going to be using those wires to help solder it onto the tree. So wherever I can, I'm just going to solder the wire, and then I'm going to add more wires as needed to help hold it together, because I do want the star at the top to be sturdy. I don't want it to wobble or fall off. So yeah, I'm going to solder that on nicely. So as you can see, I had a wire that went down a leaf and then just kind of bent around where one of the garland globs was. And then I'm filling little areas so it looks nice. Now I have my tree right now with all my drawer knobs stuck on. I've even added a couple of screws, but I think I need to add some more screws. So what I did for the screws, I'm taking it off the tree form now. The screws, I wrapped a wire around the screws, and then I'm attaching the top and the bottom of the wire to some part of the project. Sometimes I wrap the wire around a leaf, sometimes I wrap it around another wire, whatever it takes to hold it together. So this is kind of a quick little video, but thanks for watching. It was really a fun themed video that it was great. And please subscribe so you don't miss any of my other videos. You have a nice day, and a Merry Christmas to all.